And welcome to our second day tour. And once again, we'll have Tony with us. If you haven't seen part one yet, definitely get back and check that. We'll put a link up there. This is more riding and more exploring Aruba, so stay tuned.
Under the trees? Go at it. There's different entrances to the beaches.
So we're out here in Aruba enjoying the mangroves, and this is extremely beautiful. Water is very warm and we're just out here filming a little bit to go with our ride. Took a bit of a tour out here in Aruba on UTVs. We're on a Pioneer, I think we're on a 700 or 1,000, but still nonetheless beautiful day. Out here with a group, some are swimming, some are walking, and just enjoying it. So out here in Aruba, you can rent from a couple different tour guides. We are using ABC Tours. They are, of course, not the cheapest, but we think the highest quality, at least here. Some of the other ones do not use Hondas. They use CF Motos, which nothing wrong with that, but there's another group that uses some Chinese name, which I'll put down here somewhere, and they look like mini Pioneers, but they're not very reliable. So you know, depending on your budget, what you feel like doing, they carry spares, and we'll get you home if they break down. But ABC Tours, they keep all the machines top notch, and we recommend them.
I did kayaking with my wife over here one time, and she was doing good at first. Then she got tired, so I had to row on my own.
Could be worse. You could be in 2 kayaks.
Yeah.
You get a tower.
That's why I didn't do that. And people like to snorkel over here too. It's very shallow all over.
And what the name of this beach again is?
This is Mangalhalto.
Mangalhalto.
Big mangroves in English.
Big Mangrove Beach. Big Mangrove Beach?
Yeah. So you go in between the mangroves with the kayaks.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
It reminds me of Bimini in the Bahamas.
Oh, okay.
Very nice.
So we headed back to the Pioneers, and Tony was going to take us to some other locations. So we had our snorkels, and we had our towels, and we had a change of clothes and water shoes, and we were ready for more adventures. Of course, riding is the primary function of this tour, but we wanted to see some new sights, something that we didn't see in our original video, and so we were excited to see where else he was going to take us.
We are here at Baby Beach, and why is this called Baby Beach?
So there's a funny story behind it. Once we get a little bit more over to the other side, you're going to see a big oil refinery. That oil refinery was built in the year 1924 because we used to refine crude oil for Venezuela.
Okay.
About 600,000 barrels a day. And we also played a big role in the Second World War, where we refueled the Allies, so the States, a couple of places from Europe, Holland, all against Germany. So we would refine the crude oil, and then we would give it to the Allies.
Okay.
After that, when the Germans found out, they tried to bomb the place. So they tried to send 3 torpedoes to the island. One of them never exploded. The second one landed on shore, and the third one exploded in the submarine itself. So we are a very blessed island, as we say all the time. But this place is called Baby Beach because the workers, they used to work inside of that refinery. Their wives would stay at home with the kids. They would bring them over here to Baby Beach. It was called Laguna Chiquito at first. So that means small lagoon. And then the ladies that came here to teach the kids how to swim, they named it Baby Beach. And it stayed the same ever since.
Nice.
It's not because we make babies here.
This little break here at Baby Beach. I hear some construction going on, but other than that, it's a nice peaceful beach. Having a good time. So we'll be back.
Even on a private, not everybody comes here. It's mostly what people want to do, and I always recommend this one because it's one of the highlights of of the island. You know?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's the nicest beach.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you get, you know, some places have a restaurant and stores and everything, but just to be pristine like this is nice.
And it's nice to come here early because right now it's not full of people. Give it 2 hours and there won't be places for you to leave your stuff under a palapa to go in the water. So when I have that 9-hour tour, this is where I start.
Yeah.
I start here and we end up at the northwest side of the island.
And we're back at low tide again?
Yeah, today is also low tide and we don't have much current. Especially not today because this week the whole wind comes from the
storm and everything.
I mean, comes from the west, so this side, the south and the east, won't be that bad like normally it is.
ABC provided sanitized snorkels, and they were full-face snorkels. I had not used those before, but they would come in handy for someone who had a goatee or facial hair, so you can pick those up and bring them with you. They did have those available, and we were in this channel off of Baby Beach, just where there was not much current, or the current was going in the right direction, and we could just go in and check out all the fish and some coral, and you know, don't touch anything and don't stand on anything. So we pretty much just floated over everything. There was another group out there and they were enjoying the same type of thing there, but it was before there was a large crowd. So if you do go on a morning tour, please check with them. It makes it so much easier when you don't have dozens of people trying to see the same thing. Now, if you do want to go out on a boat, you can certainly hire boats that will go out and you can go snorkeling and seeing wreck and dive locations, but you will be in a larger group. So this was nice, private, and it was just really enjoyable. Of course, my GoPro lasted all the way to the end, and then I dripped some salt water from my hat onto the GoPro, and there goes another GoPro. So make sure that you're careful with your GoPros, but she did a good job while it lasted. So back on the trail we went. Just like our first day out, there was a lot of bumpy and rocky trails, but really it is pretty flat on this part of the coastline. We did run into some water, which was left over for some rain that must have come through overnight. For the most part, it's scenic, it's arid. The ride is a little bit bumpy, but it's only because there's tiny little coral and limestone rocks all over the place. But we did see a good amount of people on ATVs and on side-by-sides, and we did see a few off-road Jeeps and 4Runners that were perusing the same trail that would go to the other side of the island. Now our goal was to make it up to the lighthouse, see the sights, but for the most part this was just to stop and see some sights along the way. And again, there was mud and there was riding and it was just enjoyable, but really if you're looking for super hilly and super rocky trails, this is really probably not the location for you. This is just another place for you to enjoy the scenery and get out on an off-road vehicle where normally you wouldn't be able to drive a normal vehicle out on these coasts. You're not going to rent a car and come out here. Certainly if you want to get your deductible back, you wouldn't be doing that. And you'll hear a lot of noise and banging and skid plates really vibrating, and as I had said in the first video, these machines take so much abuse. I know that when you're going down some of the Pennsylvania trails, you may run into the same thing, but it's a little bit of unnerving, but it's great to know that these Honda Pioneers really hold up to the abuse that they are given on these trails. And as a tourist and someone renting it, obviously they're not going to take as well care of the vehicle as if it was yours, but ABC Tours does a great job and make sure these are all maintained. They have a dedicated mechanic on hand and they have a full staff to make sure that your rental will work well.
This is one of the many fisherman huts that we have on the island. Some of them are fisherman huts, some of them are privately owned places where people used to own them before they became government protected lands. So these people cannot sell this place anymore, but they are able to pass it down through generations for their families. Like this is one of them. This is owned by the Laclay family, and they have made it into a nice spot for people to take pictures, They have made it into a place where if you want to camp on the island, you can also camp over here. They have their own water system. There's no electricity, there's no Wi-Fi, nothing like that. So it's like a little getaway from the island itself, right?
Awesome.
And then you have a private beach over here as well. It's not that good for swimming.
We'll wade in there a
nice
little bit. Yeah.
Take pictures, take some videos.
Awesome.
Right? And as you can see right here, you have cement and blocks on this side, and then you have the corals to make up the rest of the building. In those days, I'm talking about the late 1400s, early 1500s, people mostly lived off of fishing. So they would come on this side of the island to fish, and they needed a place to stay for a couple of days.
So here we are at one of the fisherman beaches. So you just heard Tony tell us about, and we're here for a break. Stop in the water, see some sights. We did the natural bridge already, so just getting over here to relax a little bit in the water.
So we would use these rocks as natural filters. As you can see in the middle, there's many holes, and it's so tight that the salt can get through it. So they would use these for the water. It comes all the way from the top all the way to the bottom, and then the salt stays behind, and there's so many minerals in here that they use for the water. So they would use as natural filters and for the minerals, and that way we don't need to add anything to the water to make it cleaner or also to give it a taste. So you get the minerals and you get a good taste from this also. That's very cool.
It tastes really good.
Cool. Up at the lighthouse, and we're gonna have a break and have some coconut and enjoy the sights. Looks like we missed some rain over there, which is good. But yeah, we're just doing a little bit of tour here, and nice to see a little bit of a view. Everybody's out today because it's beautiful out, and we'll probably get another hour worth of riding. Once we get past there, other than a little generator noise over here. Good for a picture, but you see the kind of hotels way in the distance down there, so we're on the other side of Aruba, but it's raining over there. It's good not to have a rain on your video. So as you can see, there's a bunch of UTVs. There's a bunch of different companies that come out here and do UTV tours. We recommend ABC Tours. They're not the biggest, they're not the cheapest, but they give you a good quality ride. They cater to whatever you want. You can actually have a 3-hour ride, custom ride. You can do a standard half day, full day. There's a whole bunch, so take a look on their website. Let them know that the Beaten Trail sent you if you're going to come down here. They use Honda Pioneers, as we mentioned, and so that's always a good thing. Reliable, and really the rocks and the roads down here, I mean, the trails are pretty rough. You'll have dirt and sand, and then all of a sudden you have coral rock. So you want something reliable that's not going to shake apart. So yeah, Honda or CF Moto out here, I definitely would say.
So once again, Tony was a great guide. As we left California Lighthouse to come back down the coast, he showed us a few more trails and a few more beaches. Just when you do go, plan to bring all the appropriate gear, and you can go swimming or you can go snorkeling. If you don't have the gear, certainly talk to ABC Tours. They have everything you could possibly require, and you can always get a towel from your hotel. We wanted to thank everybody on the team for such a great experience, and it was so great we went back for a second day, which is the video you're watching now. It takes a little getting used to driving high speed on the road without a helmet, but overall, just the weather was good. We missed some of the rainstorms, and as you can see, some of the rain that we missed and saw in the distance filled up the road a little bit, so we did get to go through some water. So it was enjoyable. We appreciate you watching, and please do click on our Amazon links before you go shopping. It helps support the channel. We appreciate you watching this and checking in with ABC Tours. Check with them directly on their website. And if you have any questions, please feel free to write to me, or you can write to ABC Tours. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you out there on the trail.